Everybody please note the timing under the heading of RAST.
Trial 1 5.91, trial 2 5.27.
We can go first with Biomass, that's 20 meter capacity. Starting, I mean, the calculation part. First we'll go last one test, RAST, then we'll go for Biomass. Is it okay? First we'll go for calculation for RAST, running based aerobic sprint test. Okay, this is one of our just document we used to follow. So this is our, you can say IP. Okay, this is also our intellectual property of SAI. So this is anaerobic power output test. As it is written, this is not a slide actually. You can see this is a document. So anaerobic power output test. Already we have familiar. We have conducted successfully the test. We have collected the raw data. This is raw data sheet. Captured for performer already I have shown. So you can make your performer like that. So we are having here 6 timing. Another one which is important, I told that when at that same date you have to check the when. Light weathering with having light clothing and all. If you have portable weight scale, that is very acceptable. So on field you can check the weight. So for example, our subject was thriller. What's your weight? Somebody do calculation. Who is doing? Sir, you are doing calculation. Who is doing? Somebody please do the calculation and you explain. Who will try to follow the calculation? RST calculation we are proceeding. So, okay, time first. 519. First T1 you can write in your own copy. Last timing T1 I am announcing. 519. I mean 5.19. 5.27. 5.81. T3. T4 5.94. T5 6.27. T6 6.59. Okay. These all are the timing of 6 different sprints. Now how somebody asked that time, I forgot the formula. Now because we used to use that software. Now manually you try to calculate this document based on. So I will go little bit forward. See, these are the purpose. What about the maximum power, minimum power? It is written here very clearly. And also link is been provided. You can check it. Okay. Then requirement, you can see here, weighing scale, stopwatch. Then, if you have timing gates, I told optional that is. It is written now, timing gate optional. If you have timing gates, you can use. That is superior. But if you don't have, no issue. Then this is how the procedure you can follow. Now moving on to last part. That is scoring and calculation. You can note down this formula. Everybody, please have your eye on it. Just write down the formula. Starting from velocity, this is basic 7th standard formula. Distance divided by time, velocity, acceleration. For power, I think I told about some definitions. Now you can see weight into distance squared divided by time cube. Time cube, the 3. Put the formula and in this way manually you have to calculate. you can put the formula. Power equals to weight into distance square divided by time cube. Yes. So main formula is this one. Just have an eye on it. Power equals to weight into distance square. This is 35 square divided by time cube. It means time of all total I guess, isn't it? Then you will get difference is power. Here you can see maximum power, it is highest value. Then minimum, this is lowest value, and then average, this is sum of 6. Then fatigue index. Fatigue index formula is maximum minus minimum divided by total time of 6 sprint. Okay? Very simple. Simple calculation is there. Time cube. It means total time cube.
That is the main formula, right?
This is cube. Please have a look on it. This is distance square. This is time cube.
Time 3 months. Cube.
So out of the power, the highest value will be the maximum power. Then minimum will be the lowest one, and average will be all sum of all 6 divided by 6. Have an eye on it. Average power. This average power will be sum of all 6 values divided by 6. We have done nicely. The calculation can speak about what?
ఎంత వాటర్ ನೀರು ಮಲ್ಲಿ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಉತ್ತಮ ಒಟ್ಟಿಗೆ ಮಕ್ಕಳೊಟ್ಟಿಗೆ
Please do calculate. I will ask each and everyone, and I will check. Please everybody have a look on this real-time data. I just omit the details, I mean name of the athlete and quitting as per ethical. So just have a look on it. This is how you can fix your data. See look, maximum power is out of this 6. Here it is maximum. This is minimum. This is average. This is fatigue index. Clear? Likewise, you can also put your Excel sheet in the same fashion.
also
Times.
ಇಲ್ಲಿ
This is the time.
You can keep the factor in your Excel by the main formula and you can estimate this. Otherwise, you can also go for calculator. That link is there. Okay, so moving on. I think we all are done with the calculation part. So just tell me, what is the value of maximum power? Maximum power. Maximum power will not be in point. How?
Yes, value.
This is the timing, huh? Have you calculated? No, you have to calculate. Who have calculated the power? What is the maximum power? How point is coming? This is distance square. It means 35 square divided by total time cube. Please don't do mistake. Don't do the mistake. Okay.
What time?
Little bit zoom, sir, one second. Little bit zoom.
Internet. This one. The password. Tell me.
Kitty! Password. Wi-Fi. Huh? Line tettundu. Teppodine.
See, manual calculation you can do for your understanding. I will go for calculator right now. Some authentic calculator is there. You can follow the same. Yes, somebody's that the value will be like that. It will not in point figures. Okay, you just tell me the value of maximum power is 4. What is the unit? W. What? Okay, so that is the maximum power. What about the minimum power? Okay, what about the fatigue index? Fatigue index formula is maximum power minus minimum power divided by total time of 6 sprint. This is very simple mathematics. There is no rocket science.
No internet.
502.
Kitty. Oh.
502.14.
Redmi? No, phone.
Yeah, 502. Maximum okay, average. This is average. Okay, so average power is 5. We will cross check.
Yes.
9.94. Okay.
Here we need to make that. This is the maximum.
Okay, we will cross check. With the calculator, we will cross check it.
This is the maximum. Highest.
Okay, connected. This first one is the authentic side. You can calculate from here. See, this is how you have to put all the details here. So just tell me, read out timing one. 5.19, right?
5.91.
Okay, right. 5.91.
5.72.
Sir, 5.27.
5.27.
5.81. ಇಲ್ಲ sir.
I think first one 5.19. Huh?
First one 5.1.
This is not in a sheet. Maybe you let us know. It is 19.
Go for like this one, sir.
Okay, what I have recorded, I will go for it. Okay? No issue. We need to calculate. That's it. Okay, 5.19. Second 5.27. Whoever have done mistake, please correct it. 5.81. 5.94. 6.27. 6.59. Okay, all right. So these are the 6 timings. Is it clear? Visible to all of you? Okay. Then I have to put the details. Tell me your weight.
87.
Your weight is 87?
Yeah, heavyweight champion.
LB or kg?
Kgs.
Okay. 1, 2, 3. Now cross check everybody. Whoever having any
Fatigue index is
confusion.
more.
Yeah, now I will interpret it. Okay.
Weightlifter.
Now present with us. Is it okay for all of you? Just write down the details. This is the site. You can note down for your future reference. We usually follow this site. Widely accepted. This one we used to follow. So this is how we calculate maximum power, minimum power, average power and fatigue index. First you can go for your interest manual calculation. You can go for cross check. We having bus data, we are having software. You can purchase software as well. Okay? I will explain that. See, one observation from your name, subject your name, Thriller. So Thriller's fatigue index is 11.12. What will be your suggestion as an exercise, Thriller?
Should work on lactate.
Work on lactate.
Work on lactate.
All of you have noted down this value? I am closing this one.
How you to calculate maximum power and minimum power? Manually.
So just show the formula.
Which is maximum, that is maximum. Yeah. There it is, they are showing directly, na? Maximum they are giving directly. This side, see, calculation, then they are giving not like this sequence. Overall calculating this, they have made the plot. From starting maximum, then minimum, then average. You can put it random as well. As a calculator, they put not like this alignment, just random they put maximum, minimum like this. In your manual calculation, which is maximum, that will be maximum.
But it's in seconds. Timing. It's in timing. It's in the watts.
This one.
This one. So maximum power is 5.19 is there. So to convert it into manually in watts.
This one. The timing calculation is completely based on the actual formula. The formula is here now. Repeatedly I am saying the same thing. See. What about maximum power? The highest one. There will be 6 power or 3 power. Out of them which is highest? By value that is maximum. Simple. And for fatigue index this is the formula. Is it clear? Yeah. So it is clear all of you? So see, in this example online you can see 76 kg. These are different timing and these are respective power. And out of this which is maximum? This is maximum. Out of this minimum? 0.24. Then this is average. And fatigue. Average is a simple formula. Okay, I am closing this one.
So previously you calculated, right? Show me the
Which one?
87. I calculated
Yeah.
manually, just I want to compare it.
It is okay na? Compare kiya?
Show me one.
You just write down promptly. Everybody should write down Thriller's data. This one. Value. Now I will interpret it. Okay? Up to this one, please write down. Now I will suggest you how to do the interpretation. Yes, this is the site. Co.uk, you will get all that. Okay, I am closing this one. So now you can generate the remote like maximum power tillers, maximum power is this, minimum power is this, and also average power and fatigue index. But during the testing, I told about fatigue index value. 10 and less than 10 something I told now. So less than 10 it means within range and good. If it is more than higher, greater than 10, then you have to or he has to work on lactate. So same language is written here, you can see. This is the interpretation. This indicates the rate of at which power declines for the athlete. Lower the value indicates higher the ability of the athlete to maintain aerobic performance. And then with the high fatigue value that is greater than 10, the athlete may need to focus on lactate. This is ideal suggestion from physiological point of view. Clear? And rest of power you can give. Now for example, tilak with discipline you are athlete, you are basketball. So if he is not a basketball athlete, some other athlete, you can compare the like this normative data we have for our athlete. So this is how we standardize and we publish this one like this. Below 40, maximum power is 260. This is the normative data, standard normative data. Like this you have to compare the range. Clear? Above 40, 600 maximum power, minimum 400. This is for male. For female, this is 300 to 400 and minimum is 1 to 5, 175 to 2 to 5. Then average is 2 to 5 to 300. This is how you have to interpret. Okay? So these are the advantage, disadvantage of this particular test. Okay, anything left? I think big test is left. 11, what's the level? 7.2? Okay, quickly I will go to calculator. Otherwise manually you can have a look on this.
11.4.
This is the norms for VO2 max, 18 and above. See, this norms is based on not worldwide athlete. This is our norms for entire SI. So we can compare these things and also some other athletes outside we have seen. And based on that we standardize it and we are using these norms. But I will share one book with all of you. You just go for it for your research communication and work. You can take the reference of that particular book. Okay? Data sheet is there. One of our known foreign athlete, he is also an athlete. And as a researcher, this is his book. You can take the reference with permission and you can proceed for your research work. Okay? So in that norms you will get all the things. That book I will share under the e-book. So calculation part is like this. You have to calculate VO2 max value from each stage, table value. This is normative data table value and accordingly you can calculate. But this is for, I am repeating, this is for indirect measurement of field test. In context of direct measurement we will go. Last session, this is our last session. Okay? It is clear? Now I will check in calculator, huh? I will go for calculator. Yeah. Top end in one of the site you can rely on it. Okay. For cross check you can.
38.
Okay. Age
38.
38. Okay. Level 11 and 1. 1.
11 came, stage 11. Shuttles it came 11.
Metal 1.
How much?
Metal level
11.11 it is. So I kept the level is 11 and shuttle is 11. Now look at the value.
53.5.
What's the VO2 max of thriller? 53 point. Oh sorry. So write down the data. 53.5 ml per kg per minute. Just quickly convert it into absolute value. Quickly. How you can convert it? By dividing 41. So value is 53.5 VO2 max. Clear? See, we have entered the age, then sex, and then entered the level 11, then shuttle 11, and we got the score of 53.5 ml per kg per minute. If I ask you to convert it into absolute value, what you will do? Just you have to divide the VO2 max value by what? How much?
65. 65. Body weight is 65.
Multiply?
Divide.
What divide? Divide. Okay. And how we are getting this calculation? You can check the norms. This is the ideal formula. Laser et al. Long back 1984, I guess. This is how the test been conducted and results has been declared. Ideally, VO2 max ml is the gold standard. ml per kg per minute. Okay. Okay. So your VO2 max is how much? 53. Now I have to interpret. So I will go to the norms for different sports discipline with normative data. So your discipline is
Basketball, handball.
handball. It is there. Where is it?
45 to 50.
You are male. 45 to 50.
Excellent.
Excellent. Even in reading it was written. Have you seen? Excellent. So this is how you have to conclude. You have to interpret. In comment section, when you will be giving the input to coaches or athlete, you have to write down this all. That is VO2 max is 15, which is excellent. He has to maintain. We are suggesting to maintain his VO2 max for further training. If somebody is having, for example, he is having 38. So how you will interpret? His VO2 max is suppose 38. How you will interpret? How you communicate with coaches and athletes? Poor, below average. So then you have to write down. In my slide, I told now to improve or enhance VO2 max. These are the training. So you can suggest your coaches that he can have to have intermittent training, HIIT or lean train low to enhance his VO2 max. Like this, simply you have to calculate, you have to communicate with your recommendation and suggestion part based on this. Okay? Is it clear? Okay. In this table, this is normative data like athletic, basketball, gymnastic. Ideally, you can follow this one. Okay? For better, I will always recommend do read of different various articles across the world and collect the information. Literature review, sir. Then you go for it. Okay? So this is ideal range, mostly.
Sir, I have doubt.
Yeah.
You have shown some norms of the MSA. Is that considered space shuttles also? But when it comes to top end, they have not considered shuttles.
Yes.
They have given
But yeah, good question. But
because we won't find these norms anywhere. We have such.
No, I have updated 2019 that human kinetics book. I used to follow that one. So I would suggest you also follow that book. Human kinetics that Dr. H.D. Kuda sir is quite known. So I will share that book. Whatever you do, the assessment, this book will lifelong remain in your brain. Everything it is there. You take permission, proper channel, and you can take that idea, you can take that all the reference. That book is gold standard and every assessment you will get from that book. Okay? We usually follow that book. But as per your requirement, you can collect all the data for your population. Clear? But as a researcher, your mind should be broad. Worldwide what happening, then only you can go for it. Clear? So laser etol, that paper you have to follow, or that book, Human Kinetics, Assessment of Athletes. So clear? So now I am closing this one. Okay, regarding material, as I promised, I will share some of the e-books which you will not get because I have the subscription. I have some of the collections regarding exercise and sports physiology books. Just read and gain your knowledge. In fact, if you have any confusion, you can remember us. And I will share that book with Santosh sir. And in that, how I think maybe common mail your details is with us. So we will mail or in a branch mail you can send. Sir will do that. Because right now if I try to give you in pen drive individual, it's not possible. But I am promising I will share. Okay? Some of the books I usually follow.
Yes, sir.
Even the yo-yo resource, this one. I think it's not in this folder. I will share that yo-yo resource as well. Okay?
Yo-yo.
Sir, later on, everyone realizes with you. As I promised, I will share the resources. We can share some good books and books. I don't want to put in WhatsApp because after 5 years maybe you will find WhatsApp it will erase. So better in mail.
No, they will download from
Android I will not put in my system. I will share this. Okay. As I am promising and I am announcing from here, I will provide. Okay. The books. You will enjoy the reading and the book is really helpful for you.
In that book we can get this procedure of yo-yo test and all, right, sir?
Don't worry. All the things are not.
Okay, I will share. Now I am not getting the file. I think it is somewhere else.
ಸರ್ ಈಗ ನೀವು ನೋಡ್ತೀರಿ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪರ್ಟ್
Santosh sir, now you can proceed.
ಮತ್ತೆ ಈಗ ನೀವು
Again, procedure. Good day.
So regarding field test, anyone having any confusion? Or we are perfectly fine with that calculation? We have learned something, huh? This is very important.
We got the idea, we will provide materials and we will practice it.
Yes. Actually our target is not to provide the PPTs. Our target is to learn you, to make you capable to prepare that PPT. This is our target. Okay? And in this regard, I think mostly all my seniors, juniors and my dear friends, I think you have learned something which will take a take-home message. Like you can now able to perform task. And once you will follow with your prospect, you can conduct your subject test. If you have any That is mother of physiology testing, iodomax, and subsequent lactate. Yeah, I told one test that is not mentioned in slide. Conconi test, CONI test. That is related to HRDP. Just write down the full form if you wish. HRDP. Conconi test is related to HRDP. What is the full form of HRDP? Heart rate deflection point. I have that PPT, but now I don't want to put the. I have an allergy with PPT. Whether I can speak, I can listen, that is best. So heart rate deflection point, this is one 400 minutes per day. You can check the heart rate, you can plot it, you can get the aerobic power. Somebody asked me about aerobic zones. So here you will get HRDP. Even for aerobic power, I think explosive power, VJ is there, vertical jump. Everybody needs to do it. So that time also you put heart rate. Then you only get lots of information. Now I think everybody learned about the importance of heart rate. This is very simple device, heart rate monitor. But see, heart rate before this workshop, I think few people know about all the things. But now heart rate you know SDNN, you know HF, you know LF, you know time double parameter. Even in HRV, I have skipped some of the points like DLF, very low frequency. I have not spoken because I know it will be very difficult to jot down and think all the material. Even I have not spoken about third one, that is non-linear analysis, SD1, SD2. Going below, I have not discussed. But for our sports, that is enough to do for any miracle. Okay? For heart rate, Polar is very standard. You can have it. Other thing based on your choices, by doing literature search, whatever equipment you are purchasing, it should be based on your research. I mean, what accept should be. Okay? Then only 14,000-15,000. This is we have purchased H10, 2,000. Then tax and all the things. H10 for, I will suggest personally to all of you, if you have a wish to perform HRV and 100, you can take H10. Because in H10 it is compatible with Elite HRV and QoS software. Elite HRV and QoS, QoS. QoS I have shown premium version, that is paid more than 78,000, approx 1 lakh. But freely available, you can Google it in your laptop. Freely standard is there. QoS standard software is freely available. You can access. GHRV freely available. That is also widely accepted for research. But if you have a core interest in research, you can have it the paid one. 78,000-80,000. That is premium version of QoS. Okay? Sir, you can start. Okay, for this station, I mean this CPET, cardiopulmonary exercise testing unit, we are having our technical person as well. We are lucky enough that he has came long back and he has a good association with sir. Sir will say and this is very interesting going to be. Okay?
Okay, friends, till now we have done field test. Now we are going to see the lab test. You know, this is the gold standard to find your VO2 max as well as your RER, your tidal volume or your respiratory volume, and also you can do spirometry also, right? So we have got instrument from 8 instruments, and this was procured with the help of Mr. Suman, and he is also young and energetic. And I should say one word of appreciation because they supplied us the equipment in 2016, but till now he is giving me unconditional support without saying anything, murmuring anything and sometimes it's very busy, but still, and during the COVID only I learned, most of the things I learned in COVID through online, Zoom, by screen sharing and software, right? And then after practice, and he has been constantly giving this practice, and after 3-4 years, only now we are getting the hang of the whole system. It's a very long process. But this is beginning for all of us. So it doesn't mean that you should learn today only, but if you learn the important concept, maybe time will come when we can put it to use. Right? But we should be ready, equipped with all the knowledge. Right? So he will be explaining those because he is the expert in this and is technical support manager of Aid Instruments, which is based in Sydney, Australia, and their office is in Bangalore, and they are supplying to the whole of India. Okay? So now we'll be showing you the thing on the. Okay, so first we will be explaining the different parts. Okay, it is not rocket science. You can understand easily, but we will be explaining what is what. Only thing you know how each one is connected to each thing, right?
Good evening, everyone. So we will just show the video so that you can understand the setup.
And a video. Yeah.
So Suman will be talking about all the details. Try to grab most whatever you can, because connectivity and technical part is the backbone of conducting a test, right? Because if you have not thorough with the connectivity, then definitely you will not be able to perform the testing, isn't it? So he is the right person to explain about the testing, connectivity, and how you have to connect in terms of calibration and all the things. For our scientific point of view, just now recall that treadmill testing slide and that explanation about Biomax. And now really we are performing with real-time method. Okay? So in between, if you have any queries from scientific part as well as from technical part, we will try to solve it. Okay? And having looked on this main screen, you will explain one by one. Okay, please proceed.
Yeah, so I mean, you can see this is a complete setup. How we connect and what are the components. So right from the subject, you can see there's a face mask which is attached and it has two one-way valves. So basically we are taking only the expired air. So expired air is nothing but the air. Right? So this valve will help us to separate the inspiratory and expiratory air. So that is our first priority. So we just want to analyze only what is coming out of the subject, right? If you have any questions in the meantime, please feel free to ask. Then we have a small tubing, so which is just for the comfort, so which will allow the subject from the treadmill to the mixing chamber. That is a small chamber which is kept here. So the purpose of this mixing chamber is to make an even recording or the mixture of the air, so that it doesn't get very high concentration or low concentration because of the expired gases. Then there is a spirometer. I think we have seen in the session. So this is measuring the tidal volume. How much is basically coming out of the subject, right? So the measurement will actually happen here, volume. And you can see there is a small sample port which is taken through a small desiccant cartridge and connected to a gas analyzer. So what we are measuring is concentration of oxygen and carbon dioxide. So this gas analyzer will give us a percentage of O2 and CO2, and the spirometer will give us the tidal volume. Suppose imagine if our tidal volume is 1 liter, and the O2 sensor will say 20% is your oxygen, so that means 200 ml will be your CO2. Or if the CO2 says 5%, so 50 ml will be your CO2. So that way, continuously software will be able to calculate. And along with this, you can see there are amplifiers which is measuring the volume, and there are amplifiers where we can record the ECG and heart rate variability. And these are the different hardware which will be connected to the computer. We can see this. Right, so we will attach the face mask to the subject, and you can see the subject getting prepared. And also there is a headgear, as you can see, so which will help us to keep the face mask secure. And we have to make sure that there are no leakages. This is a very crucial part, because if there is any leakage, so that will create error in your tidal volume. Right? So make sure there are absolutely no leakage. So we are just attaching the electrodes and the face mask. And there is also a small wireless sensor which we are attaching for the ECG recording. We have option for wire as well as wireless. So as we know, wireless will be more convenient while doing the exercise. So we are attaching one of the sensors, so wireless will acquire and we can see the different rods.
Hello. So, as we explained about the system of CPET, now from our research point of view and as an exercise physiologist, just recall that pre-test conditions. For example, starting from 1, athlete's consent form. You have to fill prior to testing. This is first part thing done. Second part, you have to do the screening with the standard SESM protocol, like having any hypertension, any kind of severe injury, all the things. That part, that is it, right? Then you have to explain all the things, like this is graded exercise testing test, so there may be some of the things which may not have in your control. So for that, in respecting athlete's health and fitness, you have to be cautious to minimize any kind of error. Clear? So now we are in the process of subject preparation. Subject is ready. We have explained all the points. Now we will be having that graded exercise testing. So there are two things from research and scientific prospect I will just explain, because in my slide presentation I create that photos and videos rather than having any language. Now I will explain that one. First thing is that you have to apply a sport-specific or ideal protocol. This protocol can be applied or administered manually or system generated. What I spoke, you have to apply a protocol. It could be applied in build system you can fix, and you can apply either it could be manual. Now protocol. There are a number of protocols, but standard protocol usually we use modified Bruce protocol or Bruce protocol, knockdown, bulky protocol, or any specific protocol. So the idea is it will be an incremental graded exercise testing. It means, I will repeat, graded exercise testing or incremental. So the idea is there will be some speed, there will be timing, and inclination. We know about inclination of treadmill, that is slope and speed and timing. Three are the factors that you have to account. So protocol, for example, it could be initially you can go for warming up of 4 km per hour, minimum 15 minutes, or 6 km per hour, manually 15 minutes. This is for warming up. Once it is done, then you can go for actual testing by fixing the protocol. Is it clear? So then, after 3 minutes, you will run approximately 10 km per hour, and next 3 minutes, how much it will be? 12. So every 3 minute interval, the speed will be increased by 2 km per hour up to their maximum level. I mean, subject has to have their maximum level in terms of volitional exhaustion. That's why it is VO2 max. Max. 3 criteria I have explained during my lecture. One is RER, that is nothing but respiratory exchange ratio. It should be below 1. If it is crosses more than 1.15, one criteria is fulfilled. We have to check the RER. In the panel, Suman will fix the RER as well. Okay? Then second, predicted maximum heart rate. If it is beyond plus or minus 5 to 8 or 10, then you can stop. It means he is having the plate in their heart rate in a particular level. He will not able to consume the oxygen because heart rate plate will come. On the curve you have to identify. Light according will be there, but we can fix this panel there, and accordingly you can check. Is it clear? Third criteria, based on subject's adaptability, you can also decide. For example, he is electric, so you know he is having good adaptation, he can run up to 16, 18, whatever you want. But third criteria is that time NET you can also check, metabolic equivalent task, MET. Otherwise you can check heart rate and O2 consumption curve. So in some point you will not able to consume oxygen beyond that. It means oxygen will be ऊपर plateau आ जाएगा. Okay? Heart rate it will stack and then it will go down. Similarly, oxygen rate of consumption will not be higher, but production of carbon dioxide will be higher. Okay? So these are some preliminary criteria to make you sure that yes, my subject has given his or her 100%. Is it okay? So these are some of the things you have to consider before performing unbraided exercise testing. Sir, ready? Okay. So now we will do warming up for 5 minutes. Only 1 minute. Okay. Already it's 21 minutes. I have already explained the product. Sir, on tap you cannot do it. It is already connected earlier.
So we have just started the recording. You can see the different channels coming up in the lab chart. The first channel is the oxygen concentration, which is, I hope you all know the atmospheric oxygen about 21%, right? So you can see when the subject inhales 21%, in the exhaled air you see somewhere in between 17 to 18%. Right? So 21 minus 17.5, so roughly about 3.5% is consumed. The same rough value of CO2 you can see that is produced. Right? So that's what sir was saying, the respiratory exchange ratio. So which we will be able to see the calculation. But this is just to get an idea whether the setup is all fine. So percentage O2, CO2, and the third one we have actually connected to ECG on the chest, but that the care has to be taken. If you put it on a muscle, you will get a lot of EMG artifacts, not ECG. So you can see there is actually a placement, a slight distance, so instead of picking up ECG, it is also taking a lot of muscle or chest movement. And you also have a temperature and a respiration value. And there are some derived parameters like heart rate, respiratory rate, and the time. So these are the raw parameters, and using O2, CO2 and flow, we can derive VO2, PCO2, respiratory exchange ratio, and other parameters. So which we will start as the subject starts exercising, we can keep adding comments of different speeds or the variation of the readiness so that you can see the graded values of them. So let us start recording and you can visualize how the data changes. Maybe I just show the software of different plots of view so that you can see during the resting how much is the value. As the subject starts exercising, you can see how much is the change. So
again, now subject is ready to give the test. Okay? So it is visualized. You can, if it is possible from that corner, you can see here. If it is not possible, you can see from there. You have to check. You have an eye on the data, how it is changing over a period of time. The oxygen level consumption, subsequent carbon dioxide production. Okay? So we have already started, I think.
Yeah, so you can see there is something called as a log window here. Sir, can you maximize the log window a little? So basically you can see it is taking sample every 20 seconds average. And for every 20 seconds you see this is PE, that is expired volume in 20 seconds at the rate of around 4, 5, 4, 2 lit per minute. Right? And the next one is VO2. What is the resting? VO2 in again? About 0.3 ml or about 3.5 ml per kg per minute. So
just remember that resting 1 ml, 3.5 ml per kg per minute.
So
how it is changing?
you can see that roughly it's coming 2.8, 3.6, 1.9. So this is a resting. Similarly, VCO2, RER. And you can see REE, that is energy expected. So that's also coming in kilojoules per minute. And since we put the weight of the subject, it is automatically calculating in METs. That's such that 1 MET is 3.5 ml per kg per minute. So now once we start the exercise, you can see these values climbing up. You can also see the graph side by side.
So is it possible to maximize that Excel sheet, the changing?
Yes.
But can we just make it?
So what I do is I will just tile all of them together so that you will have a glimpse of all these graphs. There are also different plots available, like you can see V42 versus time. This can be a useful plot. I can also put a couple of plots like VCO2 versus time. And if required, you can have REE versus time or RER versus time. So if required, I can tie them all so that you can have a glimpse of how. So as the exercise increases, you can see all the graphs climbing up. So now you can see the comment has been added as resting. Now once the subject starts exercising, you can visualize the data. Check it.
Initially, now journey is going on, but we are recording the resting one right now. That we explained about the resting one. But you can start. Yeah, next. Now you will look at eye on this right hand of that panel. How it is changing. Just look at the REL, look at VO2, VCO2 volume and values. How it is changing real time.
So very important part is the phase mass. If there is any leakage in the phase mass, you will immediately see the value here. This is your flow channel. So we are inhaling, exhaling. So we are not considering anything which is inhaled. So that's why you see whenever during the inhalation it is coming flat. Only during the exhalation the waveform comes down. Right? So this is an indicator. The subject or a person who is next to the subject has to monitor whether he is actually breathing out quickly. So that if there is any leakage here, straight away it will affect your value. You see here, during his testing he was not breathing out properly. So you see there is a value of underestimated VO. So as the value stabilizes, you will be able to get a sharp peak. Now you see the value is going somewhere around about 15, 16, 17 in that range. So you can also visualize the data here around 19 or so. And this is PCO2 versus time. This is energy expenditure versus time. So all the graphs along with your log data. So as you see, the ECG is not very clear because of the placement of the electrodes. Otherwise, you can get a very good ECG and you can get a 3D plot of the ECG waveform. Like over the period of the subject running, say 10 minutes. What is the change of the cardio? Because maybe I'll show you after the recording. So because of the higher demands of the body, the heart will modify itself to cope up to the higher cardiac output. So you can actually see a very nice waveform of the ECG. So probably we may not be able to get that value here, but I can show you one recorded data. So you can see they are adding comments as and when they change the speed or RPM of the treadmill, so that you will get an idea when there is a change in the speed or RPM. Also, there is a possibility people are looking into the muscle activity. So there are sensors available. You can see here. There are 4 lights. Those are basically the wireless EMG sensors, which can be attached to the muscles, so that you will actually see. Because sometimes people say which is better, like as I was saying, treadmill or accelerometer. In some of the labs, what people have seen is in accelerometer recordings, before the subject comes into the Bluetooth max, he will get into the muscle fatigue. So that could be a limitation. So you will be able to estimate those things with the EMG.
Okay. So now, as an expert, what will be your observation right now? You have to be very cautious in your lab. When one subject will be under the testing, that time you should be out of rest of world. So 3 people ideally, one should be just these are practical experiences. You should follow. As an exercise physiologist or as an expert, you should follow. First thing, you have to be here in this area. Sometimes you can push him, you can encourage him. Ideally, you have to put that emergency red color key with the pad, because to minimize the accident, and it is mandated. Although you are not putting it here, but you have to put the red alert key. It will be with his pad. So suddenly, if it sometimes with running speed, he can go beyond, so that time automatically it will detect and testing will stop. For accidental, to minimize the accidental safety purpose, we have to put that clean. Is it clear? Second thing, one will be the recorder. One will be the recorder in terms of heart rate. One will be observing from the curve as well as direct. Second thing, I have shown that RPE scale. Could remember the color medium I have shown. Like 5, 1 to 10 scaling is there. Every interval you have to show. Prior athlete must be knowing. So you will tell during this notation, movement, you will say 5. You have to know the 5 for stage 1. For 6, stage 2. These are like qualitative data you have to ask and you have to convert it into numerical, quantitative. Okay? So these are some of the precaution and observation during the testing. One more thing that is very important, athletes continuous communication, that is very important. So ideally one will be in this side, he will be instructing or she will be instructing like this. One will be like this side, the RPE, one will be the recorder, and one will be continuously on the screen, main system. So this is how we conduct the Biomax test. You have to be 100% ensure that there is no lagging kind of thing. Okay? Is it clear? This is how we used to proceed for the Biomax testing.
heart rate is 155 right now. 163.
163.
So another 20 to go, 20 to 25 to go before it reaches maximum. So if the oxygen consumption will be how much is that? Around 30.
Around 30. Yeah. So you can see I have put out another graph RER versus 9. So you can see the value is somewhere close to 0.9 approximately. Right? So
One thing that to take into account is that we have already run the rounds.
yeah, this is not the first
It is already up and
Yes.
not very unlike that.
Even one more thing, you should not fix the same testing in a single day. Remember, for VO2 mass testing, one session or one day. For example, today morning, ideally we will perform morning. So morning 9 to 10 you can fix the timing, and that prior one day. I mean 10th you have given the date of 10th of May at 9 to 10. 9 afternoon, from starting 9 afternoon, you will be free without any load, any training, in relax. Then 10th morning, you will enter the lab, preliminary screening, consent to admit him, then you will proceed for the testing for aerobic. So just taking example. So 10, 9 to 10 you will complete the testing. On the same day, he should not perform any kind of activity, complete rest. Then 11th morning you can. This is how your concept should be. It is not that, okay, today I got it, I will complete the aerobic, heart rate, HRV, all I will do. Approach should not be like that. Here,
So you can see the values climbing up, and interesting thing is you see the tidal volume. We all know that resting is about 500 millimeters. Now you see it's almost close to 2 liters. It's increased by 4 times. And you see the depth of it, right? So as we increase the speed at peak, we can go to somewhere around 2.5-3 liters per second. So as this climbs, that's all because of these 3 values. So since you also have a video, a screen here, if required you can save the data of the video. So that if required later on you can open, go back and forth and have a look at the So they are adding the comments to the speed of the retinal and the interior.
are you okay? Yeah, keep going, keep going. Focus on your step. These are some common dialogue or comment you have to use. Keep going. Are you okay? Prior, he must be educated. He must be informed that once you are not able, just raise your hand. If you are not able to raise your hand, that time press the red alert button. Immediately press it. Stop. Okay? Even while you are stopping, that one also you have to provide in your report. Whether subject requested, malfunction with the instrument, electric cord, anything can happen. You have to mention. Otherwise, useless. So once you will stop, what will be the next step? Once you will stop, what will be the next step? Ideally, we'll record for another 5 to 10 minutes recovery. So manually we reduce the speed in 6 to 8 km/h changes of the values of RER as one of the criteria. I told 1.15. If it is, then you will fulfill the criteria. So now what's the value of RER? 1.039. That means we can proceed more further. So this is the things you have to accurately mind you have to observe. Are you okay? Okay, this is last second. Then we will go for 10 minutes recovery with 6 to 8 kilometers per hour normal moderate.
Heart rate is 190, actually almost reached, as well as the RDR is above
1.05.
and his oxygen consumption is 51.9. Oh, sorry, second 48, 49. Yes, 48, 48.
See, another one criteria, that is, if the level of oxygen consumption is lower in you go for recovery with 6 to 8 kilometers per hour for 5 minutes.
ಸಡನ್ ಇರ್ಬಾರ್ದಣ್ಣ, ಒಂದು 6 ಸ್ಪೀಡ್ ಹೋಗ್ತಾ ಇರಬೇಕು.
5 to 6. So now you can see here the VO2 is 48.24 and VCO2 is 51.93. It means that carbon dioxide production is higher in compared to VO2. So this is one of the criteria. Clear? So now we will calculate directly. Machine will give you the VO2 result.
See, what has happened here is he kept the timing to 20. 20 is stop on the timing, so automatically it has stopped. So now we have, as soon as it stopped, we have stopped this thing and we have started the recovery. So the air block banded. So the experiment is over. One experiment is over, the second experiment started. The beauty of this is we cannot fail. They cut in between if they don't want, but as soon as you cut that, it will be divided into 2 experiments. So if you show it to an expert, he'll know you have done your failure. So ಈಗ second block start ಆಗಿದ್ರೆ the second is recovery. So you can see the VO is coming down from where RR will come down, everything will start coming down because already the half part of the curve is of the first experiment. So the leader will put the 26, 21, 19, 12, the VO2 is coming down.
Recovery भी लेना है. So we will. So this is so-called breath by breath analysis. If somebody will ask, you know everything by attending the works of VO2 max, treadmill. If somebody asks you basic questions, tell me the principle of CPET. What will be your one-line answer? We have learned so many things. If I am asking basic questions, what is the principle behind this CPET? What will be your one-line answer? In every workshop I used to ask at the end this question. Somebody already told. What's your name? Ashwini. She already told. This is the mechanism, breath by breath. Write down for forever. Wherever you want, you explain the principle behind this CPET is breath by breath mechanism following indirect calorimetry. Okay? Clear? Following indirect, you will put it there. Mixing chamber, all the things known, will not. But principle is breath by breath mechanism. Two stop. Clear? Then your opponent or who will ask you, they will know about you. If you say the principle behind CPT is treadmill and VO2, VCO2, MET, RER, nobody will predict your level. Just simply say the principle behind this CPT is breath by breath mechanism. Now if they ask what do you mean by breath by breath mechanism? You have seen this Excel panel. Simultaneously VO2 we are consuming and carbon dioxide production is going on. So inspire and expire through some systems, mask, that flow, turbine, all the things is there, mixing chamber, okay. This is so called, that's why breath by breath mechanism. Here you can't never manipulate any data. Real time analysis. System will tell you every minute second. Here, this is the beauty of graded exercise testing.
You can see that VO2 versus time at the end of 200 seconds, his maximum heart rate went to 190 and now it has come to 135, around 3 minutes. That x-axis is the seconds, 200, 400, 600 seconds.
Even that software, Suman, you just throw on some light on that beautiful software. That
He's got a sample data, he's showing it now.
Okay.
Got the perfect
Yes.
data file.
Yes.
All the ECG.
This instrument is so sophisticated and so costly, anyone you can't give the authority to conduct until and unless there is an expert. Because anything may happen. There are lots of analysis concurrently going on. Even prior, one thing, I think we have calibrated prior. Yeah. Another part, that is calibration. Prior any testing, before 10 if you are testing day, 9 you have to be ready with your system. Calibration. Under the calibration there are 3 segments. 3 areas you have to calibrate. So this is ideal standard cylinder for calibration, gas calibration purpose. So as I told, 3 areas of calibration. One is volume, second is temperature, ambient temperature, air temperature, and third one is gas. So this 3 you put in it.
They can't see.
So this cylinder here we are having oxygen and carbon dioxide balanced with nitrogen. Okay. So what's the value of oxygen?
Atmospheric.
Atmospheric. Basic.
20.9.
20.95, 21 whatever. Now tell me the carbon dioxide. 0.03 na? 100 it should be, isn't it? So here ideally the catalysis cylinder having carbon dioxide and oxygen. So I think 16.5 last time.
15.3 oxygen. 5 carbon dioxide.
So this is based on the refilling of the cylinder certification from the company people. Ideally 16.5 O2 and 5 I guess 5 near around carbon dioxide and balance with nitrogen. Okay. So the idea is to make this known. This is known cylinder volume and value. You have to shrink or you have to standard your equipment in respect of this cylinder. That is part of gas calibration. Okay. You have to open the knob of the cylinder and you have to collect. System will automatically detect. You have to just go for gas calibration. Then you will check that level of CO2, VO2, all will come. If your calculation is passed,
So remove the gas in this and then feed this gas into the gas analysis. Right now we are breathing and feeding, but we are feeding this gas with known percentage of carbon dioxide, oxygen, and we calibrate into that machine 15.3 oxygen and 5% carbon dioxide. So calibration is over. So whatever we breathe out, according to this calibration, value is coming.
Yes.
So we have to, now and then we have to do, otherwise it will be, we won't get it.
So that is one part, gas calibration. Then moving on, volume calibration. I think volume calibration we are having syringe. Know that you have to inject that volume. Santosh sir, for volume calibration, you don't have to say. So ideally there is 3 liter of syringe. See, there are different models of this system. In our lab we are having some other model. Here we are having the ideal set. Company may be different, principle and all the mechanism is same. So known syringe is there, 3 liter. You have to inject the stroke. You have to. Then automatically it will standard and they will say one strict class message will come that volume calibration success. You have to accept the value. Then last one, that is ambient temperature. You have to calibrate. So this 3 area of calibration work is done, then you can go for the testing. So calibration is a part and parcel of every testing. Now, if you are having 20 average testing in a single day, how many times you will calibrate? This may be general question. So we will suggest prior one day you have to have calibration one time, then you can calibrate. Without calibration you can proceed for the testing. Until and unless there is any malfunction. Isn't it? So this is how we suggest actually. Okay? Calibration is a part and parcel of testing. Prior you have to be ready with all the things. Yes.
If the calibration is wrong, means your data is wrong.
Yes. We can't accept. Scientific community will not accept your data.
So I'll just show you one of the data where we have recorded in one of our users lab. So you can see it's actually connected with an ECG belt. You can see this is a VO2 graph, something like this. You can see the resting value was somewhere around say 3.5. You can actually look at this point. Wherever I take the cursor, it shows the value, right? At rest, somewhere around 5, 6, 4, 3. So as the exercise increases, you can see this is the speed of the treadmill. So the value increased. And the peak is somewhere around 67 point something ml per kg per minute. And you can see the recovery rates. Right? So something like this quality data you can get. And this is set for about 20 seconds interval or so. You can change that if you require. Say, just go to settings. Now it is set for 10 seconds. So if you want a very soft graph, you can increase your average time. Say 30 seconds for example. So you can see the graph looks something like this. So the more shorter averaging time you get, so you get more accurate value. At the same time it is spiky data. So this is about VO2. Same way you can get this RER. So the resting RER was somewhere around 0.9. And you see during the VO2 max it just crossed and somewhere around 1.1 or so. So that is the second criteria as I was saying to see whether the VO2 max is achieved or not. And if you want to see the raw data and the table, you see something like this. So all the values are tabulated. You can get the pointing or whichever you think is the VO2 max, you can easily get it from. And 30 seconds of daily use. And very interesting fact for the sports or exercise physiology. So this raw data, graphs of course can be edited value or average value, but the very interesting part is the raw data. You see this graph, maybe I'll just point out some of the values. One thing is the curve of O2CO. See this? So this is something like a mirror image. The first channel is O2, the second is CO2. So you can see it will have exactly mirror image, but at a time where there is an aerobic threshold is attached, so you can see there is a change. It takes a turn from further increasing, it starts decreasing. So this is one important factor. Probably it might be very useful for a coach or a scientist to get an idea. And another part is the tidal volume. See this? You can see the resting is, you can just observe this value here. This is a flow in liter per second. It was just about 1 liter per second at rest. And you can see during the peak, it has gone to almost 6 liter per second. So the flow was, the lungs were breathing out so heavily, so that there is a lot of what we call the ventilation happening. And you can also see the trend of the heart rate. So wherever you take the cursor, you can see the value. So resting was somewhere around 80, 83. So as the exercise peaked, just before recovery, it went around 194, 195 or so. And another very useful parameter which you don't get in all the systems the parameter is called as SPO2. This is very useful parameter. So usually you might have seen people faint if the SPO2 value comes below say 90%. But in this particular experiment, you can see, I will show you, I will take the cursor to this level. See, it has gone to 86%. And the subject was fine and is ready to run further. So you can see the difference when the subject is into voluntary control. Even though the SPO2 is going below 90%, he is stable and he is able to perform. And I think it has gone to 83% in a very short instance, you can see here. And it quickly recovered and then it slowly gained back to 90%. So which can be a very important parameter when you want to design your nutrition or kind of diet and kind of things. So this is one, and the other part probably I will show you the three important factors. So this is something called as accelerometer. So during this recording, the subject was wearing a belt called as incubator, which has a three-dimensional accelerometer. So what it does is it will try to see how much is the deviation or the movement or the acceleration. So you can see in 3 dimension or 3 axis, you will see how the subject is like what is his kinetics or dynamics. People are using this for something like a bike fit kind of study. So whether the subject is running in the same axis or is wobbling. In fact, we have observed this also for one athlete where he was putting more time or he was spending more time on a particular leg. So which went into the early fatigue. Those things can be seen using this accelerometer data also. And you can also use this to count the steps. If you see, maybe I am just zooming this data. So you can see the number of steps he has taken. Also can be seen as each step he takes. You just zoom in the data. I hope you are able to see this. Each time or each step he takes, it just gives a kind of a spike like this. So we have to even count the steps or count how much time he has taken for each step. Or even if he is doing wobbling, maybe one leg he is spending more time than the other. You will easily find out from this. Of course, the raw data is very important compared to your analyzed data. Because analyzed data sometimes might have some features which is hiding some of the raw data which might be useful. But when you see the raw data, you will be able to express in the moment. Right? So that is one part. And another thing probably I will show you is the data quality of the receiver. So you can see this is the graph during the exercise. So I just take the data to the resting phase. Sir was talking about the heart rate variability or the RR interval variation, right? So I'll just maximize. You just observe this timing from this peak to peak. This was during the rest. And I just propel this to the right between the peak. Are you able to see the timing is reduced here? If you want to compare, I'll just take this value to the resting and at the same compression ratio. You can see this graph. This is about 111 time. This is about 836. You can see in the time of 2 beats, here there are more than 2 beats. Exactly double. So, I hope you are able to see
You
that
had the main skin.
the timing here,
The skin you
just observe the timing from here to here.
That is for HRV.
yeah.
Exactly. So, this is nothing but your RR interval.
Got it? Now this is so amazing, huh? I kept that animation in my presentation. Now animation is converted to real-time actually. And now we are getting this value. We just went R to R the timing interval. You just remember the slide key points R interpolates interval. So now this is the real-time athletes data. It's amazing, isn't it? So this is how there is no scope of manipulation. You can manipulate the R1 wave to second wave. There is no scope. This software is so sophisticated and so user-friendly. You can check the raw data. Clear? This is the application part of HRV. Yes.
So just maybe a couple of more things. I'll not take much time. This is another plot called as a waterfall plot of the ECG. So what this is doing is this is superimposing the data as the ECG comes. So you can see the initial phase here. That is a resting data. As you see, the exercise increase, the T, this is a T wave, right? This is the QRS and this is the T. The P is somewhere here. P is not very clearly evident here. But you can see QRS and the T wave here. You can see T wave has come closer, right? Anybody? This looks like, I mean, we also supply systems to some of the drug labs. They give some adrenaline or kind of injections, and you see animal value changing like this. So this is the data done voluntarily.
It is this way, longitudinally.
Exactly. So you see that
That is the starting point.
if you measure the PQRST and the R to T interval, here it is almost probably maybe 100 milliseconds also. So here it has come almost probably half of it.
Suman, sorry, you put it in like this level, PQRS.
No, this way, rotate. That is still.
No, you put the right thing and put it. Just one thing I just want to.
Still no. Turn.
Just PQRS find. Yeah. See, as he explained, this is one of the interesting part from physiological point of view. You just remember the ECG curve. Where is P?
First
This is
B.
This is
Q.
This is This is This is where is I will ask you somebody, where is ST segment? ST, because we have to think about our goal ultimate for our athlete. Where is ST segment? ST. PQRT. So, with the measurement of ST segment area, we can conclude about left ventricle taking in consideration their conductivity. That is very important. So, some athlete, those who are abnormal ECG, when we conclude that somebody having abnormal ECG, so that time I think definitely we have to check that ST segment here. If somebody's notch is like this pattern, it is moved downward, moved down, minus, that they are having some arrhythmia, some problem kind of thing is there. So this is how ideally we check that ECG. Clear? So this is the application of ECG in terms of ST segment analysis for research. I am talking about visible. So that time you have to check ST segment. Normal you can have, but somebody is having minus of S followed by T, then this ST segment, if there is some abnormalities, then you have to check the technique. You suggest them for any further diagnosis like multi-parameter monitoring. We used to use multi-parameter monitoring. It means their live ECG in hospital setting, clinical setting, you must be knowing that tick 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 tick, that beat sound is going on now throughout monitoring, that ECG. That time you can find out if there is something, any abnormalities through the monitoring. I am talking about sports, not clinical. So some of the athletes may having some kind of problem. Maybe their recovery is also good. They are reaching immediately to the maximum, but their recovery is also fast. Even I think today's subject was that somebody asked me about, is it here? Somebody asked me about, yes, you just had. You told me that question, yeah, he asked me this relevant question. He will explain. You just tell me that your observation.
Normal persons, the maximum attack will be -8.
Yes.
But today's subjects are around its maximum attack 198. I think it's possible or not? My question was that.
Yes. These things we want from this workshop. He already pointed me, and that time it was his observation. I really appreciate. You have to full name. So this is how we have to relate the science. So I am talking about ST segment and predicted maximum heart rate. So this is also another example.
Sir, maybe it is time to reframe the formula.
No, see,
220 minus session.
220 is widely accepted, but for elderly people and child, we can't use that 220 minus H. For that we have to use, I think somewhere 204 minus 0.7 multiplied H something, some formula is there. That one you can use for elderly population and children, like not adult. Because 220 minus H, this formula has been adapted in some group of populations, those who are quite adult, I think, if I am not wrong. So that formula I have. So we usually use 220 minus H. But his observation, Akshay observation is very nice. I should appreciate. Because sometimes some athletes may reach immediately, but their recovery is also fast, which we haven't for that subject for today's testing. He reached up to 197 and immediately fall in 157, I guess, some around. So it means if you are an expert, what will be your take? Will you proceed for testing or immediately will stop? So you have to decide also based on your experience by knowing, taking in account your athlete's adaptation. If he or she is elite level or their adaptation is good, then you can proceed, considering all other things. Otherwise, you should suggest ideally, scientifically, to stop the testing. Otherwise, there should have to have the presence of NT sports medicine doctor. Anything may happen. Clear? So this is how science is, helping. So this analyzing by ST segment, you will find out some athlete having some of the arrhythmias, some kind of abnormalities. So for that, we suggest multi-parameter monitoring for a couple of sessions. In our lab, we have that, I think, ultimate frame, that BPL monitor. So rarely we use that, but some of the athletes, some cases we already got. So we are giving their intervention kind of study, starting from ECG, from SpO2 at a time. BP, NIBP, we will be getting that machine. So this is how actually we can be helpful to our athlete. Clear? So we can stop, sir. Lots of information, otherwise what we have done we will forget. So I think it is perfectly fine for all of you. We tried our best to give you the best exposure with hands-on. Clear? Now how you will apply? You now study. You study, find some literature queries, until and unless queries, we can predict that 100% you have learned. And this is not an easy thing to capture all the things and to give all the time at a time. Okay. So officially we are closing here. I think with the permission of General Sir, Santosh Sir, we are closing our formal physiology lecture today here. Okay, thank you very much for your kind cooperation and your presence. And I wish you all the best in coming time. Somebody will be researcher, somebody will be in other fitness area, but take this message in for future as a researcher. This is my message to all of you. Thank you.
Sir, light. Light. Table.
Well, dear friends, it was a very useful and practical oriented session. And I think if it was theory, I don't think you would have lasted even half this time. But since it was a very practical and interesting, and some new things which we have learned. And as we introduced in the beginning of this session only, Mr. Subhadra, they were very down to earth, very friendly, and if he starts speaking to you, other people would not know that you are meeting for the first time, right? So he becomes so close, so quick, and he's so genuine. And he has given us so much of insight, and as I said, it's very difficult. He has learned this from so many years, and 2, 3 hours and 4 hours difficult. But always these things can be learned step by step, step by step. It's always a cumulative process. So I think next workshop or next time you go somewhere else, I think you'll learn more. And who knows, like how we dreamt 5 years back, even you are dreaming now, you might get an opportunity to get this kind of equipment. So many youngsters are there. You got a big career ahead of you. And on this day, despite his busy schedule, he has accepted at least 2 months back, I think, and he has kept his word, and he has convinced his superiors to give him at least 2 days leave, and he has come all the way from Manipur. How many people of you have gone to Manipur? One. I have gone for hockey, and you know the hardships of going till there. And he has traveled from so far, and thanks to the flight and all nowadays, you can travel within 6, 7, 8 hours, you can come over here. And sir, on behalf of all of us, Mangalore City, participants, Department of Physical Education, my personal behalf, I thank you very much.
Thank you.
And maybe in future we will have more such sessions whenever you have time. And as a remembrance, we would like to give you a small memento. And I request our senior most director of physical education, Mr. Arun Shetty. So he'll be there for another day, I mean not another whole day, but till tomorrow also he'll be here, he'll be leaving afternoon. Okay, so whatever you have doubts and all, we can contact him tomorrow till he leaves, or even after that via mail or via phone, okay? And I hope many of you who have come here got some ideas what you can do with your research, how you can go about finding different parameters. Always you go for step test and the old Cooper test, and always you do some data and also. Always testing is should be very precise if you want to get standardized data. Fine? So it is left to you. If you just want to finish the PhD or if you want to have a really good PhD, right? It's all left to you. And he has given a lot of insights and information. Once again, on behalf of all of us, I thank you, sir. And I think today has been a very long day. So from tomorrow onwards, we'll start early in the morning. by 7. Whoever is interested, whoever wants to do some testing can come and can learn. And by 7 you come, so by 7:30 we'll start. By 8:30, 8:45 we'll finish, and 10 o'clock will be the next session. Already I think our next resource person already has come, and tomorrow we'll be having sports psychology, and even psychology is a very, very interesting field, and I think it's one of the sports sciences, so all of us will meet tomorrow. Okay, thank you very much, and before we leave, and before, after he finishes, we'll have a group photo, because it's right.
So officially we are now end with exercise force physiology sessions. Needless to say, I just want to express my gratitude to especially now I can say my colleague, friend in open platform, Dr. Santosh sir, from starting this first time I think we are meeting physically here. And this workshop supposed to be conducted last year. But since COVID and all the things, and from my side, I have stated during my guest of honor speech that I am overwhelmed what I have got from today is the third day. My take to all of you is that whatever profession you were, as a whole you are in sports. Our identity is sports. Whether you are physiotherapist, whether you are massager, whether you are biomechanics, nutrition, exercise physiology. Wherever you will go, put your best effort to get the best thing. Don't do shortcuts. Don't go for short-term achievement and certain kind of things. Right? Be scientific. Whatever relevant you put, if you are not able to perform something, just try to learn. This is my take. And 3 P's principle. One is first plan, then do priority, and then practice. This 3P will helpful because see, we as a researcher in our profession, I am quite young and still we are learning. I feel sometimes I learned only 1%, but everything is left to achieve that point. Still trying to grab whatever information together, you keep it. Although this workshop is designed for you people to give the maximum what we can. And really thankful to Dr. Santosh sir for giving me this opportunity. I will say rather it's an opportunity to meet all of you. You are wonderful, amazing audience. As a friend, as a senior, as my junior brother and sisters and fellow colleagues. So definitely this one day, from starting morning, more than 6 and 7 hours, we are together. But your patients, some of them are really amazing. I should appreciate their effort. Learning is something we have to learn vividly. See, there are a lot of technical terminologies. We can't grab in a single day, but we can find it. We have all the facility, like internet, all the things. So you can Google it. What is RER? What is the difference between RQ and RER? So learning never ends. If you are not thorough, try, definitely will get. And sports science, there are a lot of opportunities in coming time. If you see 6 year or 10 year back, there was no such opportunity like sports science or is it a science. I kept one slide for sports science, whether it is junior in science, something like that. So lots of movement is going on, like Fit India, Khelo India, and our SAI and really SAI is providing all the facilities. You should utilize. And finally, I would like to thank my regional directors for permitting me, although we are having lots of work to be done within this month, campus testing and all the things. So as Santosh sir told that, immediately I accepted that invitation because first time I thought that Mangalore will be the right place to explore, to propagate this workshop. So that time immediately without any hesitation I accepted that invitation. And I somehow convinced my director and I'm really happy that sir has given me the permission to come here way back from Manipur to this Mangalore. And definitely I will remember, I will cherish that moment we have shared, the learning thing. So our achievement will be there if you can take at least 1% from here. That is our achievement. right? And I strongly believe all of you have that ability, because once you have registered something, you have thought that okay, I have registered, I have to go. Even we have got lots of requests, sir, whether this is offline or online. Sir, is it possible to convert it online and to provide a certificate? So I really thankful to all the faculty members, especially for Mangalore University, and definitely sir giving this opportunity. I am repeating, we will plan something more in near future, and that time your active participation will definitely add up in our services. So with this, last but not the least, please do some exercise on this coming 5 days as well. Don't think that physiology, our interest subject, we have done best. Take the same spirit for another 5 days, because this 5 days, another 5 days is going to be more precise. Initially I already accepted that 16 years of learning, I can't speak within 6 hours. It's quite difficult. From my side, I kept all the effort to make you understandable. Maybe some mistakes, some communication, some other thing in hurry mode or in first, some points you missed out. I apologize for that, but in near time, definitely we will take time. For 5 days we will put for exercise physiology. So hope that time you all will be coming here. With this note, wish you all the best. Be safe, be happy, and do exercise. Okay? Thank you.